Hey everyone, KitaSean here. So I apologize for releasing this video so late. There were just so many videos I wanted to release during the New Year's that it pushed this video back by quite a lot, and I apologize about that again. But here we are with another top 10 servants of the year video. This top 10 will feature the best 5-star servants that were released in the JP version of Fate Grand Order for 2021. Of course, this is my personal opinion. Not going to lie, this list was really hard to make, especially the top 5. So many amazing servants released this year. So if you guys decide to go in the comment section and tell me, hey, this servant should have been on the list, or this servant should have been higher or lower, I won't argue at all. But without any further ado, let's get right to it. At number 10 is going to be Taikobo. Honestly, I think the real reason why I put him at number 10 is because he was the last 5-star servant to release in 2021. I personally haven't really used him as much, and I don't have him, so that's also a thing. But yeah, he is still a brand new servant in a way, and again, I didn't really use him too much, so I can't really say how strong he is officially, but I do know that he is a consistent farmer as a rider. His first skill is good for buffing the party's quick cards, attack, and MP damage, can deal more damage against divine and demonic enemies, which there are a lot in this game, and you can seal enemy skills with his second skill, and his third skill is a 50% MP battery, which he can also give 20% to the rest of the party, which is really good. His MP is AoE, so again, he can farm with Scotty as his support, and he does even more damage to divine enemies with it. So I think he's a very solid servant. If I had more time with him, I do believe he would have been higher on this list, but I thought number 10 was just fine from the time that I have used him. At number 9, we have Miss Crane. Miss Crane is a caster that can give invincibility to the party except herself, increase critical star generation, and depending on the amount of servants with Spiritron dresses, she can gain stars. She can increase her own MP gauge by 100%, but has demerits which are deal 2000 damage to herself and increase the chances for enemies to attack other party members. Her last skill allows her to increase one party member's crit damage, insta-kill immunity, but also deals 1000 damage to herself. Her MP is what makes her really fun though. You need 20 stars in order to activate it, but if you do, you can increase the attack power of the ally in front and MP damage and have her move to the back row. So basically an anti-Cheng Gong sacrifice, which is again really fun, really gimmicky. I do believe that's actually one of the reasons why I put her at number 9 instead of 10. I had more time with her, and again, I think her gimmick is just super fun. So not only that, her character, her personality is actually one of my favorites in FGO. So yeah, number 9, Miss Crane. At number 8, we have Sakuratoyo Lancer, an arts type AoE Lancer that can farm. I do believe Sakuratoyo Lancer is pretty underrated. He's not talked about too much after his release. There's a reason why for that. We'll talk about that later. But there are fans that were very excited for him to get a 5-star treatment. But yeah, he not a lot of people talk about him enough. But let's go ahead and check his MP and skills real quick. So again, he's an arts type AoE Lancer. He might need more help, but he can do it. He has an AoE arts buff and critical damage buff with MP overcharge, a 50% MP battery, which is already good, buff removal resistance and debuff immunity, grants himself arts and buster damage up, and gets stars every turn. So yeah, I think Sakuratoyo Lancer is very solid as a 5-star Lancer, and again, we'll talk about why I think he is not talked about enough. At number 7, we have Gaute. Like Sakuratoyo Lancer, I think Gaute is one of those servants that is not talked about enough. I mean, I do believe it is arguable that you can throw Gaute a little bit lower on this list, but she's an amazing single target arts berserker. The reason why I think she's not talked about enough is because a lot of people compare her to Vlad. Vlad, obviously, a really strong single target arts berserker, and I do believe he does more damage than Gaute, but at the same time it's either one or the other. Use Vlad or use Gaute kind of thing. So if you have Vlad, you don't really need to roll for Gaute. If you have Gaute and don't have Vlad, you don't really need to roll for Vlad kind of thing. But it doesn't hurt to have, you know, both of them in your Chaldea. But she can buff both her arts and buster cards, deal more damage, has an MP battery, has survivability, which is important for a berserker, increase own defense, and she can heal. She can also decrease an enemy MP gauge with her own MP, allowing you to stall as well. At number 6, we have Milsim. This is actually the reason why Sakuratoyo Lancer is not talked about enough. Another strong arts Lancer that can farm, and she can increase her attack, HP, and has an MP battery. Really good at gaining crit stars, can grant herself invincibility, and not only does she have a 1 MP battery, she has a second one that can give you 100%, and she transforms into her 3rd ascension, which adds increased own MP damage. If she is in her normal form, she is a single target arts attacker that can decrease the enemy's defense by 1000 for 5 turns and gain critical stars, but when she turns into her true form, she becomes a buster AoE who can inflict burn and ignore invincibility, and yes, she can farm if you have the right setup. A really fun servant to use, and yeah, I think she is the better Lancer, of course, and again, the reason why Ryoma was not talked about enough, but yeah, she is really good. I highly recommend picking her up if you do not have her. Okay, so this is where it's going to get spicy. Again, this list was really hard to make. I know there are going to be people in the comment section telling me Milsim should have been in top 5. Again, there are just so many great servants in this year's gachas. So again, I won't argue at all, but let's go ahead and check out my top 5. At number 5, we have Oberon, yes, the only pretender in the game that released in 2021. I do know that Pretender FGOJP came out, but we're not talking about her because she released in 2022. But going back to Oberon here, I wanted to throw him a little higher, but I also threw in the fact that it is a little difficult to use him at times. He can increase MP damage and has a 20% MP battery with his first skill, but his second skill adds on another 50% battery and increased crit stars, and most interesting skill is the third one, increased buster damage by 50% and MP damage by 100%. Because of the strong effects, this skill has the following debuffs for a turn: 1000% chance to get rid of all buffs, 500% chance to sleep forever, which cannot be removed or prevented, 500% chance to be targeted, and can't be order change. So basically, Oberon is a support servant that helps buster types, but that servant becomes useless if you use a third skill wrong. So basically, Oberon is a support servant that helps buster types, but that servant becomes useless if you use a third skill wrong or you mess up somewhere. It sounds really dumb, but it's a skill that will help you quite a lot if you play your cards right. His MP is also an AoE arts buster type that can put enemies asleep, get rid of their buffs, and give enemies invincibility as a demerit. He sounds bad because of his third skill, but trust us JP players, he is a very useful servant. He's also one of the reasons why busters can 3-turn farm. At number 4, we have Summer Kama, another 5-star Avenger that can arts farm, can protect herself with evade, increase arts card, and MP damage. Also has a really high chance to charm enemies, has a 50% MP battery, and she can inflict Heartfelt Blaze on enemies when she normal attacks, which allows her to do extra damage on the enemies. As an Avenger, she has a bunch of passive skills, and her MP throws on a defense debuff and does more damage if the enemies are charmed. At number 3, we have Coinon of Light, the one who made buster looping possible. She literally has some broken skills. Her first skill is a 50% MP battery and can reduce cooldown time by 2. It deals 1000 damage, but that's nothing. Increase damage against anything human or man, increase crit damage, and even give the ability to gain MP gauge when attacking with the normal buster cards. And of course, increase buster damage and crit damage. If you need to use her as an attacker, that's no problem because she could deal damage, but honestly it's not much. So having her as your main attacker, probably questionable, but she can definitely be a backup attacker. But if you like to make your buster servant super strong, then I do believe Coinon of Light is a must have. So yeah, that's actually the reason why I put her at number 3, because of the lack of damage she produces. Like, I know there have been videos and all that good stuff of, showing her that she can, kill stuff, but there are a lot of times where I'm like, dang, she doesn't deal that much damage. So that's why I put her at number 3, but at the same time, I would put her at number 1 if anything, if it was just support servants, but she's number 3 for me. At number 2, we have Senji Muramasa. I thought long and hard on this one, but to me, Muramasa is the second best servant of 2021. He can buff all of his command cards and do a ton of crit damage. He can ignore invincibility and even do more crit damage if enemies have evade or invincibility on. Has a 50% MP battery and even can give himself Blaze, which charges his MP when doing a normal attack. So easy to get his MP gauge back up. Also, his passive skills are really good and his MP does a ton of damage. Give him Castoria and not only can he farm, but he can just become a monster. Yeah, Muramasa, I probably would have put him at number 1, but there is another servant that can basically take on any other class, and that is Morgan. She is my number 1 servant of 2021. Not only is she the best servant of 2021 in my opinion, she is the best waifu of 2021. If you are looking for an arts AoE berserker that can farm basically, again, anything, say no more, Morgan is what you're looking for. Of course, works amazing with Castoria and becomes a consistent farmer, can increase her MP gauge up to 50% with 2 of her skills, and of course increase her own attack, reduce enemy defenses, increase MP generation, can increase crit damage, can reduce enemy attack and crit damage, and has guts, so as a berserker she has survivability. She can do damage with her MP, which also throws on Curse for extra damage and overcharge parties MP by 1. So yeah, there you guys have it. That is my top 10 best 5-star servants of 2021. Again, there are some servants that you can argue, hey, I should probably put this servant a little higher or a little lower kind of thing, but there you have it. That is my top 10. I was debating if I wanted to make a full-on, you know, throw in 4 stars and 3 stars kind of thing, but I thought I'd make it easier on myself and just do 5-star servants. But yeah, there you guys have it. That is my top 10. Comment down below and tell me what you guys think about it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Laters.